Hey folks, welcome to Shooting Up North. I'm your host Lewis Carlin. We're here right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching for the first time, please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter at Shooting Up North, Instagram at Alliance PW Network, and feel free to join our Facebook group, the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. And don't forget to check out realwrestling.net. Shooting Up North, the podcast is now up there. Today was the first day, the first episode of Shooting Up North on realwrestling.net. So check it out, realwrestling.net. Shooting Up North. Today was the first day our podcast went up there, and I'm very excited. Hopefully, it's a long, fruitful relationship between Shooting Up North and Real Wrestling dot net. Okay, so and hey, again, if you're watching for the first time, or if you watch in the few times already and you're enjoying the content, you don't subscribe to the podcast, please consider hitting that subscribe button. All right, so let's get into it. Santino Marella, the director of authority for Impact Wrestling, is open to wrestling again. He was speaking with SE Scoops, and here's what he had to say. This is what Santino Marella had to say. He said, I don't know when I'll be distributing or administering the first Cobra. So it looks like the Cobra is coming back, but it's always with me. He added, I think I can wrestle a little bit. I've got some injuries. So it really just depends on how meticulous I am with my rehab. I have a bad back, so I'll really need to warm it up. I can't do it consistently, but I can do a match here or there if need be. So it sounds like Santino Morella will eventually hit the ring. I don't expect it to be anytime soon, but I do expect to see the Cobra at least once or twice in 2023. And you got to think, who would his opponents be? Um, he's not going to have a 60-minute Iron Man match with Josh Alexander for the Impact Wrestling World Title. We know that. He's not going to get into a high flying high spot match with Speedball Mike Bailey. We know that as well. So who would be his opponent? Right now, the only two I could really think of, two or three I could think of. One, of course, Johnny Swinger. They could have a comedy match. I think it'll be hilarious. And also, for some reason, I'm thinking Brian Myers. I'm thinking like Brian Myers, gets under Morella's skin and eventually challenges him to a match, and we get Morella versus Brian Myers, and Brian Myers gets hit with the Cobra, and of course Santino Morella wins the match, and the crowd will go home happy, of course. But that's those are the only two I'm thinking that I'm not, maybe Sicky Dice as well. We're not going to see Morella against Steve Macklin. So yeah, if there's two opponents I could think of that I think would be good choices, Johnny Swinger, of course. It would be easy match for Santino Marella. Just do a bunch of comedy spots. Like I said, he's got the bad back. Or we can warm up the back and warm up and rehab and have a decent match with Brian Myers, which Marella, of course, will go over, hit him with the Cobra, and in the match. But yeah, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind seeing Santino Marella. He's 48 years old, but age is just a number. But I like I said, I think we're going to see him back in Impact Wrestling in the ring. I should say we're going to see him back in the ring wrestling. I would say at least once or twice in 2023. And he also talked about the roster. He said Impact Wrestling has a promising roster, which is 100% true. It says here the veteran is impressed with the talent pool in the company with champ Josh Alexander at the top of the list. He also appreciates the backstage atmosphere. So here, Santino Morella saying a locker room is supposed to be a mix of younger guys and older guys, with the older guys helping teach. Morella said, if it's the same education, there's no teaching. It can't be rookies teaching rookies. In this case, it's a nice balance. He says it's a fun locker room. There are no locker room cancers. Nobody's complaining. It's an upbeat locker room, which is what it's supposed to be, because you should be grateful if you're a wrestler, for a living. Says here the Canadian certainly has the credentials to be a coach. As the founder of Battle Arts Academy, even though it's not a role he was hired for, he'll give pearls of wisdom, like how certain moves and motions can contribute to an overall story. So Morella had this to say as well. I also wanted to be some form of developmental. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the more We'll talk about that more as I get settled in. When he talked about his plans for Impact, he said so many bad guys. He says, as far as what we'll see in this next chapter, Morello looks to bring comic relief. He also wants to bring some structure and consistency to the show. That's why I said comic relief. So I'm thinking Morella versus Johnny Swinger is probably going to be the match that we're going to see. Probably going to be his first match. When the first time he steps into the ring, the Impact Wrestling, it's probably going to most likely be Santino Marella versus Johnny Swinger. It's just going to be a comedy match, which I think will be very entertaining. Along with his Impact commitments, um, let me skip down here. He says he's never really left the business. I just pivoted from entertainer to coach. I guess I was promoter. I was a promoter a little bit to get my students some shows. I did enjoy that. I'll be back on screen. I'll be a coach again in a different capacity or a producer down the road. I realized I'm in this business for life. I got a 4-year-old who wants to be a wrestler, so I guess I gotta stick around now. So having Santino Marella, you know, teaching the young guys, the ins and outs of professional wrestling. I think it's a great addition. It's a great person to have in the back. Like it said here, he was running Battle Arts Academy. He did coaching in the past. He's the founder of Battle Arts Academy. I think having him on the roster and teaching the young guys is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. You can't have a better coach than Santino Marella. He's just well, I don't want to say you can't have a better coach than Santino Marella, but he's a fantastic person to have in the back to teach the young guys, to help develop the young guys. So he's going to be wearing a lot of hats, in my opinion, at Impact Wrestling. It's great to have him aboard. And hey, like I said, coming soon, Santino Marella versus Johnny Swinger. Mark my words. That's the match I'm predicting Santino Marella versus Johnny Swinger. All right. One thing I looked at the Impact Wrestling roster page. Just want to touch upon this on a for a bit. Sheldon Jean is not on the Impact Wrestling roster page. I checked the website. I've been checking the last couple of days. They got to get him on there. I mean, he signed a contract. He's under contract with Impact Wrestling. My opinion, he's a blue chip prospect, immensely talented, and they got to get him officially on the Impact Wrestling roster page. So hopefully we'll see him there soon. But he's not on the roster page as of yet. But I'd like to see him on the Impact Wrestling roster page ASAP. ASAP. Let's talk about Yuya Uemura. Yuya Uemura, as I looked on the roster page, I looked at Yuya Uemura as a profile. It did indicate that Yuya Uemura is spending his excursion from New Japan Pro Wrestling in Impact Wrestling. I kind of figured that. I didn't see any indication of that anywhere, any reports on that, but I guess I should have just went right to the source, right? The Impact Wrestling roster page. Click on Yuya Uemura, and it says right there he's doing his New Japan Pro Wrestling excursion with Impact Wrestling, which is fantastic. So we can expect to see him in Impact Wrestling for another year and a half, maybe 2 years. It all depends on when his excursion ends and when New Japan Pro Wrestling wants to bring him back when they feel he's ready. But I think it's terrific that he's going to be spending his entire excursion exclusively with Impact Wrestling. He's an incredible young talent. He's going to be an absolute megastar for New Japan Pro Wrestling without a doubt when he goes back. Trust me, he's going to be an absolute megastar for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And let's enjoy Yuya more while we can. He's a great young talent. And I think Impact Wrestling, give me a second here. I got a little scratchy throat. Don't know why. I'd like to see Impact Wrestling give Yuya Uemura an X Division title run, without a doubt. He's definitely deserving. He definitely has the talent to take that title and run with it. I'd love to see Yuya Uemura get an X Division title shot. Not a title shot, title run. I don't know necessarily if he's going to defeat Trey Miguel for it, but whoever defeats Trey Miguel, I'd love to see them get into a program eventually with Yuya Uemura and Uemura winning that X Division championship and holding the title for a few months and successfully defending the title against a number of opponents. I think he's deserving. He's an incredible young talent. And when I first saw him in Impact Wrestling, when they first brought him in, I was so excited. Before they brought him in, I kept saying they need to bring Yuya Uemura in. He's on excursion. We're seeing him on the indie scene everywhere. Impact Wrestling needs to bring him in. And once they brought him in, I got very excited, and I think he's doing a tremendous job. And when I read that he's spending his entire excursion exclusively for Impact Wrestling, exclusively with Impact Wrestling, I got super excited, man. And he deserves an X Division title run, without a doubt. He deserves an X Division title run. I would even towards the end of his excursion, because he's just going to get better and better and better. Towards the end towards the end of his excursion. Sorry, my throat's killing me today. I don't know why, but I would even give him a shot at the Impact Wrestling World Title. I don't know. I wouldn't put that. I don't know if you would give him the World Championship, but I would definitely give him a run with the X Division title. But as his excursion is coming coming to an end, I would put him in the world title picture, and I give him a shot at the world title. I fully expect Josh Alexander to still have the belt at that time. So Josh Alexander defending against Yuya Uemura for the they've actually had a match for New Japan Pro Wrestling, and it was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And Yuya Uemura is a lot better now than when they had that match. I think it was about a year and a half ago. It might have been a year ago. But Yuya Uemura is a lot better now. I think they have a much better match. And I can see Yuya Uemura getting a world title shot down the road. But definitely, without a doubt, 100%, I would give Yuya Uemura an X Division title run. I would say at some point in 2023, because New Japan Pro Wrestling, they're watching Yuya Uemura. They're watching his progress, and when they feel he's ready to come back, they're gonna pull him back. Usually, it's about a year or so. So I'm thinking like another year, maybe year and a half. But that's not guaranteed. I mean, 6 months down the road, if New Japan Pro Wrestling feels he's ready, or if there's a need for young talent, they could pull him back to New Japan Pro Wrestling and bring him back to Japan. So, but my guess about a year. He's got another year left in Impact Wrestling. So I would definitely, without a doubt, put that X Division title on him and let him have a successful run as the X Division champion. All right, so we're gonna leave it at that. That's all I got for today. We'll leave it at that for now. I'm watching the news. Anything breaks, don't forget tonight. Impact on Access TV got a great show. I'm looking forward to Jonathan Gresham versus Aiden Prince. That's going to be on BTI tonight. That should be a great match. Like to see how Aiden Prince fares against Jonathan Gresham. And again, Aiden Prince, I know I read he was going into surgery this weekend because he broke his fibula and dislocated his ankle at the Destiny Wrestling show. So I pray for a successful surgery, and I pray for a speedy recovery for Aiden Prince. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. Anything else breaks, I'll be back. But until then, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.